Here is why Varys betrayed Daenerys before the final battle. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you love House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, and deep dives into Westerosi lore. Let's begin. In the bloody, fiery chaos of Game of Thrones' final season, one of the most shocking betrayals came not from Cersei, not from Jaime, not even from Jon Snow, but from a man who had spent decades manipulating kings and queens alike. Lord Varys, the Spider, the Master of Whispers. His sudden turn against Daenerys Targaryen just before the last battle for King's Landing left fans questioning everything. Why would the man who had once sworn loyalty to her cause, the man who claimed he wanted nothing but the good of the realm, choose to abandon the Dragon Queen at her most crucial moment? Was it simply fear of Daenerys' growing instability? Or was there a deeper, more personal reason hidden beneath his years of plotting in the shadows? Today, we will uncover the real reasons why Varys betrayed Daenerys before the final battle, by exploring his history, his ideology, and the secret calculations that defined his final gamble. To understand Varys' betrayal, we first need to understand who he truly served. Varys was often called the Spider, a man with a web of informants spread across the Seven Kingdoms and beyond. Unlike other players in the game, he claimed he did not lust after wealth, land, or titles. Instead, Varys said something simple yet deeply radical. I serve the realm. Someone has to. That phrase wasn't just lip service. Over and over again, Varys proved that he was not blindly loyal to any one king or queen. He served Aerys the Mad King until he became too unstable. He served Robert Baratheon, but undermined him when Robert proved incompetent. He even worked with Illyrio Mopatis in Essos to keep a Targaryen restoration alive, hedging his bets for the future. Varys' loyalty was never personal. It was pragmatic. His sole allegiance was to stability, to whichever ruler he believed could provide peace and prosperity for the most people. So when Daenerys came into the picture, Varys was intrigued. Here was the last daughter of House Targaryen, a woman with fire, dragons, and charisma. But he did not follow her because of her birthright. He followed her because, at least for a time, she seemed to represent the realm's best hope. But the question remained, could she truly be the savior Westeros needed, or just another tyrant waiting to burn it all down? When Daenerys and Varys first met in Season 7, their confrontation was tense. She accused him of betraying her family, of switching sides whenever it suited him. And Varys admitted it. He admitted that he had served multiple kings, but always with the people in mind. He pledged to tell Daenerys the truth, to never flatter her blindly, and to always warn her if he believed she was straying toward tyranny. Daenerys accepted this, on one condition. If Varys ever betrayed her, she would burn him alive. At the time, it was a symbolic exchange, two strong personalities feeling each other out. But this moment foreshadowed everything that would later unfold. Varys had bound himself to a dangerous bargain. He would support her, yes, but only so long as she remained the queen the realm needed. The first cracks began to show in Season 8. After the long night, after the death of Jorah Mormont and countless of her soldiers, Daenerys arrived at Dragonstone exhausted, grieving, and paranoid. She began to feel isolated, rejected by the people of the North, overshadowed by Jon Snow's popularity, and devastated by the loss of yet another dragon to Euron Greyjoy. Varys saw all of this, and he began to worry. The moment Jon Snow's true parentage was revealed changed everything. Jon was not the bastard of Winterfell, but rather Aegon Targaryen, the true-born son of Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark. His claim to the Iron Throne was stronger than Daenerys, his temperament calmer, his leadership humbler. Most importantly, people loved him. Varys saw in Jon what he desperately wanted for Westeros, a ruler who did not desire power, but who could wield it responsibly for the good of the people. Daenerys, on the other hand, began to appear more desperate, more paranoid, and more willing to use fear as her weapon. For Varys, the equation shifted. He now had an alternative to Daenerys. And once that thought took root, it was impossible for him to ignore. Daenerys had always claimed she would break the wheel of Westerosi politics. But in reality, Her victories had often come through fire and blood. Yes, she freed slaves. Yes, she executed tyrants. But she also crucified hundreds of masters in Meereen without trial. She burned Randall and Dickon Tarly alive for refusing to bend the knee. And as her grief grew, after losing Yora, after losing Regal, after seeing Missandei executed in chains, Daenerys leaned harder into vengeance. Varys recognized a dangerous pattern. He had once served the Mad King, who had delighted in burning his enemies alive. And in Daenerys, he began to see history repeating itself. For Varys, this wasn't just politics, it was trauma. He had lived through Aerys' madness. He had witnessed cities consumed by fire and paranoia. And now, he feared Daenerys might walk the same path. So why did Varys betray Daenerys before the final battle? It wasn't one reason, it was a combination of many. 1. The good of the realm. Varys truly believed Daenerys was about to unleash destruction on King's Landing. He saw Jon Snow as the safer choice, a reluctant leader who would rule with mercy instead of fire. 2. Her mental decline. Daenerys' isolation, grief, and paranoia convinced Varys she was no longer fit to rule. 3. The Targaryen curse. Having seen Aerys' madness, Varys feared that Daenerys carried the same blood-driven instability. 4. His promise to her. Ironically, Varys' betrayal was partly him keeping his promise. He had told Daenerys he would tell her if she strayed too far. And he did. He warned her, tried to counsel her. But when she ignored him, he acted. 5. The children of the realm. In his final conversation with Jon, Varys spoke of the children, those who would suffer under a tyrant. That, more than anything, drove his choice. So he began plotting. He wrote letters revealing Jon's true identity. He tried to sway Tyrion to his side. He even appeared to attempt poisoning Daenerys at Dragonstone. For Varys, this wasn't treason, it was duty. A final gamble to save Westeros from another tyrant. In the end, Varys failed. Tyrion betrayed him. Daenerys discovered his plot. And true to her word, she burned him alive. His death was quiet, almost understated for a man who had played such a massive role in shaping the history of Westeros. But that was fitting. Varys had never sought glory. He had never wanted songs or statues. His life had been spent in shadows, pulling strings for rulers who never truly trusted him. And his death came as a final sacrifice for the realm he served. The tragedy was that he was right. Daenerys did burn King's Landing. Thousands of innocents died, just as he feared. His betrayal had not been an act of malice, but a desperate attempt to prevent the very catastrophe that unfolded. Looking back, Varys' betrayal is one of the most morally complex acts in Game of Thrones. He wasn't Littlefinger, scheming for power. He wasn't Cersei, hoarding it for herself. He wasn't even Jon Snow, who stumbled into power reluctantly. Varys was something rarer, a man who genuinely believed in serving the greater good. His betrayal of Daenerys.